they're on tour, they're doing a world tour, and would you believe they're coming to Twin Towns here? And if our technology works, we'll say good morning to Les McKeown.
Very good morning to you.
Lovely to speak to a fellow Scotsman as well. I know I haven't got the accent, I know that.
Oh, that's all right, pal, no worries.
and you come from the posh side, because I'm a Ouija, and obviously you were from the much posher side over at the other part of Scotland.
I think I was from the Ouija side of Edinburgh.
Indeed. I tell you what, this is how old I am. I remember going to see you, and I've got to say see you because I didn't hear you, at the Greens Playhouse, or the Apollo as it was known then, in Glasgow.
Oh, wow.
I know. That was about 1926, I think, something like that.
What an absolute fantastic event that was. That was a great place to go and play.
Wasn't it just? I mean...
Yeah.
Can you believe right now, lads, as here we are, you're on your world tour, and that's 40-something years. Did you ever imagine that you'd still be doing it all these years on?
I reckon the Apollo must have been 74, 75, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was great, yeah. I had no idea I'd still be doing this, but, I found a new love for the music about 10, 15 years ago, about all the stuff that we'd done. And I thought, I'm going back out there.
Yeah.
And it's been great. Everybody's responded really well, so the whole... Everywhere we were famous, everybody comes to see us. Japan, Australia, Canada, America, Europe, England. It's all great. Oh, and Scotland, of course.
Of course.
Why did I say England? I should have said gross book on.
That's Brexit. You see, that's what's happening. We're already splitting up.
Yeah.
But what's incredible, I always do a preview for the show the weekend before. The feedback that we've had, because you've been coming on, and, we've got people listening online right now in Scotland, so good morning to them.
Good morning, Scotland.
I know.
Ohayou gozaimasu, Japan.
I've just looked, by the way, I've looked at your schedule for here in Australia, and I'm thinking, whoever it is that did this schedule obviously hasn't looked at the map. Because I'm thinking...
No, I actually want to like it that way. I want to be pressured.
Yeah, gee, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
I know...
when everything's too close together, I say, that's too easy. Make it more difficult.
You're not wrong. And I thought, goodness gracious me. Obviously, it looks like 2 inches on the map, but it's a little bit further when you get here.
It absolutely is. It is, yeah. It's quite hard. Sometimes people don't realise how tough it is to be an international pop idol.
Indeed. Well, I'm a drummer, so I get it. I mean, I'm a failed rock star as well, so I do. I feel, Les, I feel your pain, mate. I really do.
Oh, thanks, dude.
So, how's it been so far? I mean, you've done a few gigs over here.
Well, I was just checking out my Facebook reviews and checking out the Australian Facebook for Les McKeown's Basic Rollers and lesmckeown.com, all sorts of things. It's all very, very good, positive stuff. Been waiting, 45 years to hug them, and finally got a chance to. The band are brilliant. All these kind of great accolades, which is kind of similar to last year too. I mean, we came out last year, it was sold out, and the promoter asked me to come back right away. So I said, of course I'll come back. Yeah, no worries. So I'm hoping they're going to ask me again to come back next year.
Well,
it really all depends on the profit they're going to make. So if they make good profits and the fans come out and have a good time, well, of course I'll be back next year.
Well, I can tell you here in the Gold Coast, the one that you're doing in Twin Towns, I mean, that's a sellout. You could have done a second night easy there.
Great. So we'll have a great gig then.
Absolutely. No, we're all very excited, very much looking forward to it. Les, how does it compare now with the sort of crazy days back in the 70s?
I think it's a lot better for me, personally. Now I get a lot more satisfaction out of having a band that can reproduce the music the way it was in the record, and have guys that I enjoy being on the road with through, sometimes it gets a little bit pitchy, but we're all able to cope with that, and we all got on really well. We all love playing the 70s music. We all love the audience reaction. We love interacting with them. So I think I've got a kind of almost like my perfect band. And, I just wish I'd have had that in the beginning. I mean, although a lot of girls will say, no, it was perfect. Well, of course it was back in the day. But after a few years, I think that all, fell apart. And everybody went their own way. And then slowly, I got myself back together again after a little touch of alcoholism and all that kind of stuff. A little bit interaction with the wrong kind of life.
Yeah.
I got myself back together and started doing nice positive things, which is brilliant now.
And the thing is, you've turned yourself around, which, a lot of people, and I know certainly in that era, there was so much around, alcoholism was rife with if you think of all of the glam rock bands of those days, back in the 70s, it was there, it was very easy. You're one of the ones that did, you turned yourself around, which it's got to be an inspiration for young people right now.
I hope so. It's difficult when you're young to even take advice of anyone, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. We know it all, don't we? And, what do you think when you look at programs like The X Factor and The Voice and instant stardom, you serve your apprenticeship. How do you feel when you see that kind of thing going on?
Well, I don't watch much of that, to tell you the truth. It's all kind of like, I find it very exploitative. But I understand also at the other side, the act side is they want to be famous and they see this as a way of getting famous, and of course it has worked for some of them. But I think the whole process, and I mean, I would love to know what kind of contracts they have to sign before they even get on the auditions, and how much of their income they're likely to receive, and all this kind of stuff. All that backdoor stuff interests me, but I never watch. There's so many of these reality shows now. It's just overdone. And first of all, I don't have a television at home, so I don't watch TV. I choose what I want to watch on my computer. So
very wise.
YouTube or something.
And you know yourself, I mean, you talk about contracts because, you guys didn't make any money in the original sort of first incarnation of the Rollers. And, these young people, they're signing contracts with the likes of Simon Cowell. They're not going to see anything for it.
Well, we don't know that for sure. I mean, Simon Cowell seems like a nice bloke, but he's a businessman, and, there's a price to be paid for that kind of exposure on the television and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure that's explained to the acts when they come along to the auditions and all that. Should you become famous, then we will own.
Yeah.
That we will own everything. I'm sorry, that's my iPhone.
I can hear that.
we will own your everything.
Yeah. But as you say...
good luck to them, because if they make it through that, there is one chap, I forget his name, my guitarist worked with him, who was a singer-songwriter, and they had him on there. I think he won it, and then he messed it up a little bit because he couldn't really cope with the kind of singing these songs that were written for him, because he was a good songwriter. I wish I could remember his name off the top of my head, but anyway, he's made it back through by his own means. He messed it up, flopped a bit, but then came back with his own songs, and everybody loves him for it. So, to me, if it was me, I would just say, look, do your apprenticeship, get out on the road, travel up and down the country in a van, and just learn how to interact with an audience and play your stuff, and then, see what happens.
Well, I always say, if you can survive the working men's clubs in Scotland, you can survive anything.
Yeah, that's right.
But then, again, when you look around, you're doing some fantastic venues. I know that you're doing, obviously, here on the Gold Coast, you're doing Twin Towns, you're doing the Crown at Melbourne as well. These are beautiful venues, a little bit different from the working men's club at Patna and places like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I still remember those places. I mean, I was invited to leave school when I was 15, and I joined my first band. I was 15 and a quarter.
Wow.
I was singing in my first band, and we were travelling up and down Scotland in a transit to Luton, and the Luton part of it was all of us were sleeping on an old smelly mattress up on that bit, because that was warm.
We had a Commer van in our band, so...
Commer, that was even smaller.
You're not wrong, and 5 of us trying to sleep there. Anyway, we won't go into that, that's another story. So I've got to ask you, when you sort of go back to Scotland and you're walking down Princes Street in Edinburgh, whatever, do you still get mobbed, or can you actually go and have a coffee and people leave you alone?
No, I don't get mobbed anywhere, really. I mean, apart from Japan, I still get kind of like a little bit mobbed over there, but they're not kind of mobbed, like, it's not scary or anything, it's just... if you want to go somewhere and you get noticed, then other people, just normal people walking up and saying, where's McKeown? Must get a picture taken with them. So suddenly there's a big queue of people, and you only wanted to go out for a packet of crisps or something.
And do people come up and say, didn't you used to be Les McKeown?
Yeah, that's another one that's quite irritating,
but there you are. Listen, we're really, really thrilled that you're on the show. We're thrilled that you're coming back to the Gold Coast, and we've actually got some tickets to give away for the show as well,
fantastic.
Which is great. And I shall be there along with the current Mrs. Bennett, so if we get a chance to come and see you backstage at the end, we will. We'd love to do that.
We'll be expecting a full review, in-depth review.
Oh, trust me, it'll happen, and it'll all be positive. And I'll tag you on Facebook. How good does that sound?
Nice one. Fantastic. Don't forget, all your listeners can see some of the stuff that's happening. There is an Australian Facebook for the kind of like fans that have made one. I can't remember the full title of it, but hop on Facebook, type in Australia, basic rollers, fan something. Or there's always Les McKeown, which has got a little blue tick in it that tells you it's an authentic Les McKeown page, which I post to all the time. And they can catch up with things and get, all the things that Facebook does.
And I think it's great, that the fans have got a chance to interact with you because of social media. I mean, that's something that we didn't have 40 years ago, and I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, it is brilliant. It's fantastic because we all live busy lives now, and it's important that we get the information when we want it. Really good. It's been great talking to you. I mean, I don't know if this is the end of the interview, but if it is, I'd like to say thanks to you and thanks to all your listeners for all the support they've given us over the years. And I'm glad I've come back to Australia, and I hope to come back next year. Well,
we're delighted to have you. We're looking forward to the show. Keep doing what you're doing, and fingers crossed we'll see you in a couple of weeks at Twin Towns.
Okay, roll on.
Roll on. So there you are. Thanks indeed to Les McKeown from the Bay City Rollers. That's it. I'm made up now. I can retire happy. And thanks to TJ for organising that interview for us as well.
We will rock it up.